Hello, students of research writing, and welcome to this walkthrough video leading us through the material for Lesson 5, Week 5. Here we go. Okay, what we're aiming for today is to review and revise avoiding plagiarism, giving you the basics on how to write the annotated bibliography, and how you can go about giving and receiving feedback. Okay. Plagiarism. Well, we covered this to some extent, to a great extent actually, last year in summary writing in year 1. So basically what you see here is we have the original text, and it deals with Wolof history, and it begins, Wolof history probably dates to about the 12th or 13th century. Wolof forefathers migrated west to the coast from Mali following the defeat of the Empire of Ghana in the 11th century. And we have a whole passage here about the history of the Wolof peoples. Well, when would it be plagiarized? That is, if you were to write a summary or a citation or parts of your paper that state something like, the Wolof probably date to about the 1100s or 1200s. Well, again, this first sentence is terribly similar to this sentence. Wolof ancestors migrated to the coast from Mali after the defeat of the Empire of Ghana in the 11th century. The second sentence is again really awfully similar to the second sentence in the original. It's not just a matter of substituting words, you know. For example, here you've got forefathers, here we have ancestors. Here, oral family histories indicate. Here we have oral histories show. Looking a bit further, let's see. Here we've got, since European contact, Wolof history has undergone numerous conquests and revolts as competing rulers challenged one another for kingship. And our rewrite is, since European contact, there have been a lot of conquests and revolts as competing rulers fought for kingship. Again, it's strikingly much too similar to the original, so it would be considered plagiarized. Okay, so now you're wondering, well, how do I go about avoiding plagiarism, rewriting someone's ideas without stealing the actual language itself? Well, probably the best way to go about it is to take notes on what you read. Take notes. Write down only the most important information and write that information in your own words. When you're looking at your source, your source material for your research paper, that is the scholarly articles you will have read, make sure to take down all the relevant details so we can correctly put them in your bibliography in APA format. You might want to create a mind map, right? Wolof history, descended from the Fulbe, started in the 12th, 13th century. So you can, again, we learned this last year in terms of how one can take notes on something you read or something you listen to. So the first step is to take notes. Later, step 2, when you've taken notes from a number of different sources, you can combine and organize the information to figure out in what order you want to present it. So again, like summary writing, you'll be combining the thoughts later after you've taken some sort of notes. Then the third is to write your own text using the information in your notes. Don't look at the original. This way you will be writing it in your own words. So a better summary of the text would be, the Wolof tribe formed in the 13th century and may be descended from the Fulani people. They lived in Mali under the Ghana Empire, but moved west to the coast in what is now Senegal after the fall of the Ghana Empire in 1076 AD. And if we skip to the last sentence, Europeans mostly just traded with them until the French conquered them in the late 1800s and Senegal became a French colony. Now, this captures the most important information of the original, but it's written in the author's own words instead of the original language of the text. You can see that the way it's organized and combined, we've written an adequate summary here in which information is combined together. And again, not looking at the original text when you're writing down your summary or your notes is an excellent practice. Okay, so that was our information on using sources and avoiding plagiarism. Fair enough. Now, let's move forward with the second goal for our session today. Looking at what an annotated bibliography is. Well, an annotation, it simply means a note. It offers the view of the author. Who is the author? You are. You are writing a research paper. You will be making an annotated bibliography. This is a terrific video that will give you in-depth information on what an annotated bibliography is. It's 3.5 minutes long. Great source. So definitely make sure to watch the video and take note of the fact that the descriptive annotation will offer a brief summary of source material. A critical annotation is an analysis of the source material. Okay, so let's look more closely. In your research paper, you're going to have at least 3 sources, right? 2 of which you've chosen from what the teachers provided on Brightspace. 1 source you will be finding yourself. So the first thing you include in your annotated bibliography is an APA citation. We'll look at one in just a moment. Here we go with summarizing again, people. Now you're going to include a summary. That is, of course, a brief statement of the main ideas in your own words in neutral language. Then the last part of your annotation is an evaluation. That is, why is this source useful and relevant? Why have you decided to use it in your paper? Some tips. Just let's use APA standard from the first day forward, as we did last year. That way we get used to using it. Use the third person when you're writing your annotations about your source. The author claims, ... Ask yourself, what does the author emphasize? That is, the author of the original article. What does the author emphasize as relative to the topic that you are researching? Check whether the source agrees with your point of view. In summary, you read, you take detailed notes, you summarize, you provide information that describes and evaluates the source material. So for example, you'll include a citation, the author, the year of publication, the title of in this case it's a book, and then the place of publication and the publisher. Okay, again, we learned about APA standard last year. Now here's the next step. You're going to write a summary of what this source, Mexican American women activists, identity and resistance in 2 Los Angeles communities. What does this text deal with? Summary. You write, the paper, Homelessness in the United Kingdom, is an excellent example of an annotated bibliography on sociology. Oops, sorry. Okay, but this is, sorry guys, this is a summary of a different article or paper. But again, it's a summary. Kilgar's Deborah Johnson-Sarr and Plece Nicholas, 2009, Youth Homelessness in the UK, Joseph Downtree Foundation. The authors dwell on the progress of efforts done to solve problems with homelessness in the UK. Significant findings showed homelessness is due to lack of work income, education, employment, and training. The conclusion is that there is a need to evaluate the supported lodging policy and further review of what works well for the youth. So in your research paper, you will summarize your source. Then you will evaluate it. This is good material that will support my thesis on problems of youth homelessness. Okay, so for example, you're evaluating a website. This website describes the homelessness status of people in the UK. It provides the demographic profile and an updated status of homeless people. It gave an account on how the problem of homelessness started and described housing policies that have evolved from the 1800s up to the present. Here's another example. Again, a source that you've summarized, Okay. And then a brief evaluation as to why you are using it. The work gave me insight into the real problems of youth on homelessness. It is good material for the review of literature in my paper. It is relevant. Okay, so in essence, this is an annotated bibliography. Again, watch the video. I also created my own video, which I will upload, which walks you through what another view on what an annotated bibliography is. And I will post the link to that video on our research writing Brightspace page. Okay, folks, for homework, continue writing the introduction to your research paper. Now, this is going to include meal paragraphs with background on the issue that you're investigating. And again, your secondary sources, your articles. Get started, continue gathering data, that is going out there, doing interviews, administering questionnaires and surveys, doing observations. Begin writing your annotated bibliography now. The sooner you get started, the sooner you'll be equipped to share and get feedback. Lastly, I'm going to ask you to upload your research question and your tools to our Brightspace page for peer feedback. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll show you. If you go to our Brightspace page, either group 2DA or group 2DB, what you'll see in our page is, well, first off, you'll see the first 4 weeks of class and the PowerPoints and materials. What you'll also see here are some nice tools that you can use. Questionnaires, right, in English and in Dutch, observation sheets, and even further questionnaires. Sorry, this is not something I meant to include. Okay, more questionnaires, surveys, and tools that can be used for your own research. Now, where do you upload your research question? Go to here, and what you'll see is, wait for it, upload your research question. Okay, dear students of the part-time research writing classes, please upload your research question and the first paragraph of your introduction here. You will have an opportunity to give each other feedback on these, which will prove very useful in making sure you are on the right track in our research process. I'd also like you to upload your tools, people, so we can see indeed that the tools you're going to use to collect data match the kind of data you're after. Okay, so this is where you would upload your info. Please do that, as again, this is a valuable way to get feedback from each other. Okay, and we will see you next week. That is week 6. And enjoy the Peter Teitler lecture. Thanks for watching.